Trail legs, hiker legs, what are they? And why do they matter? Well, getting your hiker legs is a phrase you'll hear commonly in long-distance hiking forums. It's essentially referring to when your body's able to recover quickly from stress and beginning to adapt to hike longer distances. But on a thru hike? You hike every day. Recovery's key. When you're thru hiking, you hike a long distance every single day, so you need to pace yourself, and rapid recovery is vital. So how does one help themselves be ready for an insanely long hike like the Pacific Crest Trail? You begin with the end in mind and a solid training plan. So are you ready to get a head start on your trail legs? In this video, I'll share my journey of preparing my body for the physical demands of the PCT. Let's begin at the start as I take you on a few of my initial training hikes and talk about how I approach training for the long distance backpacking. Hi, I'm Jill, but my trail name is Taro. I'm sharing videos about my PCT thru hike experience and even about the preparations like food, gear, and in this video, my training plan. Forums, Facebook, Reddit, and other social media platforms have information that can actually set you up to fail. And failure, well, it's a great teacher. Fail stands for first attempt in learning, right? But successfully completing this hike is my goal, along with a bunch of other folks. And in most years, just a handful of people who start-finish due to a large variety of reasons. I had friends that I met along the way who sustained injuries or had other life events that took them off trail. Being physically ready for the thru hike helps you prevent overuse injuries and quitting on a bad day. Much of the poor advice that I saw online resonated with the trail provides, and that you don't need to train for a thru hike, that the desert is your training ground. However, as a midlife 50-plus something woman who began endurance sports like triathlon in my 40s, I know what it's like to tackle big, and I've had my first attempt at learning experiences. I couldn't imagine just winging it and showing up for a half Ironman, a 70.3 mile race consisting of a swim, bike, and run without training. In fact, I know from firsthand experience what even a lack of focus on hills and the bike had on my first race. You see, I didn't make the bike cutoff, and I earned a DNF, which is a big fat did not finish. It was devastating, as I had most definitely trained, just not in the right way. If you want to be one of the few who finish the PCT thru hike, you need to train, and you need the right approach. The second time I raced in a half iron, I adjusted my training plan and I finished. It wasn't enough to just show up and hope that the race would get me in shape. I needed to have a strong base with targeted training. I know me and my limits, and when I began training for the PCT, I was 25 pounds overweight and unable to day hike with a light pack for more than 12 to 15 miles. I knew I needed a solid plan to make it. My application was submitted and the date requested was for mid-March. I would have less than 3 full months to get my hiney in gear. I began with short daily hikes and walks. So, I'm doing the daily slog. And this isn't for a New Year's resolution. This is actually training walks in prep for a thru hike of the Pacific Crest Trail. I am hoping to get ready for the Pacific Crest Trail. Keep you posted on that. This is one of my favorite hiking partners, Taku, my dog. He's a really good boy. As the days and the miles began to stack up, I found myself alone for longer and longer periods of time. I'd often catch my inner voice doubting my abilities. It dawned on me that a thru hike was going to be very, very lonely, even for me. But this feeling I was having while attempting to train and balance my day-to-day life, these were different. They were like a kind of inner solitude and loneliness with a touch of emotional overspill that began to seep in like the winter rain. The forest lands, they always remind me in their own way that from death comes more life, especially with nursery trees like this one. So I began to catch myself and focus on the moment. Focus on what my body felt like, what sounds I heard, what I could see, what I could smell, to be present in the moment.
Got some ridiculous blinky things that are for feet, but I got them on my backpack. And I'm just walking in my neighborhood again. You know, the biggest thing for hikers who are a little bit older, like me, is that we get our cardio up and ready. And so it's really important for me to do my best to get out and build up my miles so that I have a nice strong cardio to draw from when I'm on the trail. So I'm going to continue to train and to do that.
Over a few weeks, I'd built up to longer and longer days of walking and hiking with more and more weight in my pack, simulating the stresses my body would go through on trail. But then I hiked Tiger Mountain with an experienced PCT hiker and volunteer on the PCT trail maintenance team. I was blown away. Well, my lungs were blown away. I had 6 weeks left before I was on a flight and just found out that I'd made a critical error in my training. The same type of error I made on my first half iron. I hadn't added enough long, steep training hills. The trail up Tiger Mountain was difficult, and honestly, I felt embarrassed when I was in the company of these people. I was winded. I was just disappointed with my lack of stamina. It got me in my head again. I mean, would I be ready for the trail, or would this take me out of the game before I even started? I choked back tears of disappointment as I pretended to take in the views. I knew I needed to course correct, but man, was it too late? You may find that you experience several highs and lows when you're on your training, and that's okay. Just remember to keep putting one foot in front of the other. I just started incorporating more trails and more hills, and pretty soon the distances were getting longer, the weight in my backpack was getting heavier. I was regularly carrying 25 pounds around, and I was doing all right, getting up to 7 and 10 and 12 and 15 miles. Having a plan and knowing what you want to accomplish is going to set you up for success, and you deserve success. And on that note, in the description, you'll see a link that will take you to a training plan that you can customize for your thru-hike. It's just my way of saying thank you for being here and watching the video. If you like this content and you want to see more of it, make sure that you subscribe. And until next time, happy hiking!